What's going on, everybody? Your boy Chili, y'all know the deal. Tuesday, two-piece, 7 o'clock-ish, right? Till whenever, however long I can make this thing last for everybody to get whatever it is that they want. I do got a special guest. I told y'all last night on my Dropping Dimes show with Cam Cox that I had a special guest. Everybody's wondering who's Chili going to bring into the crib? Who's Chili going to bring onto the show? I got somebody heavy trolling. I know y'all gonna be heavy trolling because I do some of the same, but I just wanted to let y'all know I got somebody coming up here in about 60 seconds. Shout out to my guy Devin Horn, Timeout Dev, as most of y'all know him by, super talented videographer, a football guy, officially a football guy now. I've been punishing him for years for being mostly a basketball guy because he was mostly doing basketball highlight clips and things like that, but officially a football guy. A lot of things happened last weekend. I know there's some stuff that took place on like the national stage, if you will. We got some dubs. We went through some struggles. Everybody's back home now, and we're ready to rock fully with all Arizona high school ball the rest of the way. I don't think we got any more big out-of-state games. So shout out to all the teams that got an opportunity to play somebody from another place and rep AZ to the fullest. I do got to show some love real quick before I get to my special guest. I do got to show some love real quick to my guy, the one and only Werfel candidate for all that he does to give back. I told everybody that I'm going to be doing this every week until the award is actually given out. I got to show some love to my guy, ASU wide receiver, Coben Bourget, who does so much to give back to the community. A lot of the flag football stuff, a lot of the 7-on-7 things that go on in the state. Tucson Turf coach, dedicates a lot of his free time in the off season, in addition to having to finish his studies and play and practice for ASU. My man gives back nonstop, donates his time to coach kids up, camps, Tucson Turf, traveling across the country, making sure that a bunch of those teams are right, because he coaches the varsity team, I want to say like the 10U, 12U, 14U, all those teams. Probably coaches like 4 or 5 teams over there for Tucson Turf and some of the flag stuff for the girls. So I want to make sure that I show my guy, Coben Bourget, some love up for the Werfel Trophy on that watch list. So I don't know how and when voting is going to be done, but we got to make sure that we support one of our own, straight out of Marana / Sal Point, super talented student athlete from the States. So just want to make sure that we give that love the right way. I do got a special guest coming up, and I can't wait to get into this. We're going to be nice, though. We're going to be nice. And don't forget, we are going to welcome somebody that I have never had on the program. I'm meeting him for the first time, just like the rest of y'all. So stay tuned. I got one of the national analysts, the rankers, one of the guys that, kind of, moves the strings and controls the whole thing behind the scenes, the one and only Andy Villamarzo.
Let's get it.
That's right. I had to hit up the big dog, Andy, on 3 Rivals. You're kind of controlling everything from Florida, right? Where are you based exactly?
Just outside of the Tampa area, just over in Tarpon Springs. So about 45 minutes, give or take, to get over to Tampa International if I need to get out anywhere nationally.
Okay. Hey, look, man, I know your job's super hard because, like, you have I don't want to say the unfortunate responsibility, but it's so difficult because you have to cover like the entire country or most of it. How do you do that exactly? Oh, I think my man froze. Andy froze with that Florida internet. We're gonna hope that Andy comes back. Andy, you good?
Yep.
Okay. You're freezing a little bit. I'm not sure if it's the internet over there in Florida. I know you guys deal with like a lot of weather issues out there and stuff. But Andy, talk to me about how you do your job exactly. And you have to cover most of, if not the entire country.
Well, with our Massey rankings, and that's where I think probably a ton of the flack comes my way just because of being the national high school sports reporter, bringing out the rankings every week. I mean, it's all a computer system. I get messages all throughout the early portion of the week because that's when rankings usually come out, and people are like, "Oh, how's this team? This low, or how are they this high?" Because what happened last week, and it's like, well, guys, it's not really me selecting the teams. It's more so the computer and how it kind of generates, who it based on a loss or a win from the previous week or a game not played. I mean, like you just said about weather, I mean, that does happen. So that can impact where you are from the previous week to the next. So kind of, looking at it just from Arizona's perspective, I mean, Basha being able to beat Orange Lutheran last week. I mean, impressive win for them. Looks like at halftime, I mean, they had a 2-score lead, and then things got a little shaky there.
It got dicey
In the fourth quarter. So it's like, but hey, they held on. It's all that matters. Won the game, and I mean, to me, like that, when you're looking at it from a national standpoint, definitely moved Basha. I mean, in the Massey rankings for that concern, I mean, it moved them into the top 25. They were 24th. And then when you looked at the national composite, which is you got ESPN, Sports Illustrated, Massey, and ESPN all put together, Basha was right outside. They were at 26. So, I mean, for them, a win over Orange Lutheran definitely boosted their stock.
Hey, we're heavy trollers here in the desert. I don't know if you can see this graphic, but this was a tweet that was kind of put out on your behalf. Rivals Andy Villamarzo predicts Basha going 9-1 and will fall short of the state title. Listen, I am kind of guessing. I'm not for sure. I'm not a mind reader. Like I said, this is the first time we're meeting. I am guessing you thought that the one was going to be Orange Lutheran. How does this change the way that you feel about this current tweet right here?
It definitely changed a lot of how I would think. I just feel like that win, and I was going to say, I knew that was coming. I was like, it's coming. They're going to say that you had one loss. They weren't going to go 10-0. Like, what happened, Andy? What happened? Well, you know what? Beating Orange Lutheran, to me, I mean, that's the road to going 10-0. And I mean, they're not going to, at this point, I mean, to me, a win like that over Orange Lutheran, this is the same Orange Lutheran team that went down to South Florida, played in the 305, beat Miami Northwestern, which everybody down in South Florida, if you talk to anybody down in Miami, I mean, yes, we all heard about Teddy Bridgewater, and he's no longer the head coach, and everything that happened with that. But aside from that chaos, that team is, by some accounts, the best team in Florida, and that includes IMG. Woo! And yeah, that, I mean, to me, you're Boston, and you beat Orange Lutheran, who beat Miami Northwestern, which by experts in Florida, which I would consider myself one, they beat Miami Northwestern, who could be, considered the best team in Florida. I mean, you gotta feel really good about yourselves if you're the Bears, and just kind of what you just did. It doesn't matter if it was at home, whether you went out to Cali and did it. To me, like, to beat a team like that, a team that's right there in the southern section that can compete with anybody, I mean, you got to give Basha their flowers. You have to. I mean, for me to come here and act like, oh, that's not a big win for them, no, it's huge. It absolutely is huge. I mean, I guess the only other thing was they had a chance to make it look even better than 30-24. They could have, if the second half doesn't go the way it does, it might have been a rout.
Now, how do you keep up with all these teams and watch all these games? Are you watching live, like on Friday, like in some like a man cave of sorts on NFHS, having like 15 different games pulled up nationally? Or how do you make sure that you keep tabs on all of these teams nationally?
Well, I would say social media is a great tool for all of us. I would say just being able to kind of just shift through all these tweets, all these posts, all these, being able to see like videos of teams and how they're, like huddle film, just seeing like highlights from top players. I feel like, yeah, not getting to watch like a full 60 minutes of the game, or for me, like I would love to see everybody in person. I feel like that
For
gives
sure.
you that best, feel for a team, because I don't know, you've probably seen, like, I've been traveling like a madman. I've been going everywhere. Actually, next week I'll be out your guys' way, kind of close. I'll be over in Las Vegas. I'm gonna catch a little
Okay.
modern day Gorman action. So if there is an opportunity, maybe on a Thursday night, some Arizona high school football, maybe I'll get a rental and pop out. You never know. I
Man, I would
definitely
love
I'm
that.
somebody that I want to go and see as much high school ball as I can, and I think just going out and seeing the teams in person definitely gives me an idea of, like, if I get to see one, and then I can look at kind of how they played a team and get a feel that way, and that's what made me kind of say, you know what, I got to see like St. Thomas Aquinas against Mater Dei, and then Mater Dei, playing a tight game with Kahuku. And then now Bishop Gorman is coming off of a blowout win over Kahuku from Hawaii. And I'm sitting there like,
Yeah.
we might have a chance here for Bishop Gorman to pull one off against Mater Dei. So, but when you're talking about all around the country, I mean, I think it's one, watching as much clips, as much highlights, and trying to get attain game footage when possible to try to get a feel for everybody, but looking at it from more of a kind of like 10,000 feet up, like you're just trying to absorb as much information and as much like video as possible, and being able to kind of see how these teams, because one team, like I heard a lot of going into the Broward County Classic down in South Florida, was St. Joseph's Prep over in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and they have Jet Harrison, who's the son of Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison, which his
Yeah.
son plays for the Arizona Cardinals. So I got to see Jet in person, and and being able to see St. Joseph's Prep. I don't know, like, based on my own opinion, how I would put them up against some of these like upper echelon teams, because it's like I got to see them and I said, I mean, I'm not saying they're not a well-rounded football team, but I mean, you look up front, that's where elite teams kind of separate themselves from teams that are like, they're good, or you can say they're better than that. But elite, I mean, you got to be at that line of scrimmage. I mean, you've probably seen so many games where you're like, man, it's like Basha, Liberty, some of these
Yeah.
teams at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, they got the skill players, but I think it's like when you're able to have those P4 kids play from left tackle to right tackle. I mean, it's like you're gonna have a long day if you're a defensive lineman that you're not of that caliber. You're like, what am I gonna do here? Like,
Hey,
what's gonna happen?
hey, Andy, there are a couple teams that we do got to talk about. Liberty being one of them. They go up to Draper. They play Corner Canyon, a Utah powerhouse. To say the least, they struggled. It's a 15-hour bus ride up there. How much do you take some of that stuff, the little things into account when you end up dropping a team? Because the reality is Liberty took a loss. They got to drop in the rankings. You got to move other people up. But how much do you take some of that travel stuff into account when you figure out all these rankings and things like that?
Well, I mean, not having to actually like move any teams around myself, but so much more of the computer kind of moving teams is like for Liberty. I would say I don't think it takes into account that they're, the distance and going on the
Okay.
road like that. I think it's pretty blunt when it comes to the teams being ranked. Like, if you lose a game,
Dang.
like you're gonna take a hit. I mean, it doesn't factor in like, oh, we had to take this long ride up there. Or, hey, we're for the first time we're really playing a nationally ranked opponent, and we're just kind of entering that scene. Like Lone Peak, I saw they went and played Bishop Gorman last week, and you probably
Ended
saw some of
bad.
that. Yeah, ended bad and also ended short because of sounds like kind of a little
A
crazy rule.
melee.
Yeah, it's I didn't realize, if you have three or more players that get off, leave your bench area, the game's called, it's over. It's give the win to the team that had, I guess, the more behaved team. But
Dang.
but you lose a game like that, doesn't matter if it's. I think it may reward you if you play close. If it
Okay.
wasn't like a blowout, like 45-14, I think we can all safely say pretty definitive.
Yeah.
Not much to that. We're not sitting back going, well, maybe if like 4 of the touchdown passes didn't happen, and I think we're
Oh,
all
and killing
yeah.
us, and it's killing us, and it's killing our proud Arizona football community. Hey, Andy, it's all good. Another team that I want to talk about is Higley. Higley goes on the road to Nevada. They play a Coronado team, and they do their thing. Higley is a team that a lot of people kind of have questions about because they just moved into Arizona's top 6A division after having a super successful run for 3 years in the 5A, 2 championships, all that stuff. How you personally, how do you evaluate like a Higley team and kind of where they belong in the conversation nationally?
Well, I mean, the Coronado win, you see that they're going to play IMG this week, and I feel like for Coronado, like you're biting off a lot more than you can chew probably when it comes to you're going to play one of those top teams. But you look at Higley being able to really beat them decisively. I mean, 32-13. Just how I would look at it is, I mean, it's definitely them trending upwards. I mean, based on the Massey ratings, they're inside of the top 10. So, I mean, that's a good sign for them. Like they're kind of, they're getting closer. They're getting up there with the Liberties and the Bosches of the world. But
Okay.
I mean, I think looking at their schedule, just having it in front of me. I mean, start off the season with a nice win over Highland 26. I mean, I think kind of the game I would look at and say, like, if you could really kind of have that decisive win, like you go in there and it's because on a national scope, a lot of people view them as, a good team. And I think probably you can chime in on, what are the more of the Arizona folks' thoughts on them. But, Brophy College, they have all these NFL,
Yeah.
But they got pretty beat up in week 1 with that 42-6 loss. And then, I'd just look at that October 17th game and say, man, if they, if Higley just goes in there and wins by 2, 3, 4 touchdowns, I feel like the computers would take that into account and say, you know what? Bosch did that. Why? Yeah, they're for real. Like they need to move up. They need to trend up. I've seen teams like in Florida's rankings recently. There was a team that was outside of the top 25. They beat a team that was kind of, I think, meddling in the middle, and they beat them it was 38-3. I mean, you beat them by 35. That's pretty
convincing.
Pretty convincing. And they moved up like 16 spots. So you do something like that, I think that's warranted to, it's like when you look at it from like to college perspective, it's like USF beating Florida this past weekend.
Right.
You look at USF and you're like, they're on the outside looking in before that matchup, but you beat Florida. Well, guess what?
Which shouldn't happen.
Exactly. It shouldn't happen. But then when it does, it's like, okay, everyone's eyes are open. Everybody's, you're alert. You're like, oh, okay, we got to have this team higher in the rankings. So I think that Higley's game to kind of watch and say, hey, I mean, I can't really say like any of the games in between, there isn't going to be tests, but I feel like on a national perspective, that Brophy College game, because they're considered still, even with the blowout loss to start the season, I think they're like number 5 in Arizona.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that they beat them and they're a spot behind them. They're like a spot or 2 behind them. So you beat them convincingly. I mean, they're gonna. Not like there's too much room for Higley to really go up, but I mean, it could propel them to be number 4.
Hey, we got this super unique situation over here. We have a team in our 5A division in Arizona, Desert Edge. This is a team that's probably going to end up going 10-0 in the regular season, 14-0 after they win a championship, which me and one of my esteemed co-hosts, Gridiron, believe that they are going to end up undefeated with a 5A championship, target on their back already, because we've said this numerous times. They're loaded with Division I athletes all over the place. Guys in that young 28 class like Easterling Flores, Jelani George. They're loaded at the top with Cameron Hamiel and some of those guys. How does a team like that crack into the rankings, the national rankings, because they don't play, because they are in Arizona's 5A division, they don't play any nationally ranked teams? Do they absolutely just have to mollywop everybody on the schedule to get some attention, to be in this conversation, to be talked about by legendary superstar Andy Villamarzo?
I mean, I don't know if mollywopping a bunch of teams that you should mollywop to begin with is going to grab like any. I know scores definitely pop out at me. I mean, I know one over in Kansas was like,
oh my gosh, Andale.
Yeah, it was 104 to nothing. I'm like, what in the world, man? Like, why do you need? The coach went for 2 every play.
Not to get off of Desert Edge, but that team is like 75-2 over the last like 6 years, and the team that they lost to twice. They're absolutely, and this is like the 4th time they've scored 100. I just wanted to sidebar. I know the team that you're talking about, and it's absolutely insane what they're doing on the scoreboard. And they're not, from what I've heard, they're not even in the highest division in Kansas, kind of similar to Desert Edge's situation. So
I actually think they're in 5A as well.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I think they're 5A. It's like, I think 5A or 3A. I almost feel like I need to go back and just take a look at the article. But yeah, it was just this crazy score, and that's their first game of the year. I mean, I'm not advocating for teams to be beating up on other teams like that to kind of like make a point. I mean, I have noticed like in my mentions, Sky Ridge out of Utah, like based on the Massey ratings, they've been in the national top 25. And then last week, I think they got bumped out. Why? I don't really know, because they won by, I think, like 50 something. Okay. And then I think they took it out on the team they just played. I think they won like 70-6. And then they re-entered. Yeah, they re-entered the top 25. So I guess to your point, maybe it does take into account how badly you beat an opponent, but I feel like you do need to take in also to account like who you're exactly beating, because if you're beating a team that's like 400th in your state and you're just, you know, like you said, I mean, you're just caving their head in. I don't know what that really does for your top end when you're looking to, you know, get into that conversation of top 25. It's like, I think you need to beat teams of quality eventually. Like you could go 10-0, you can beat all these teams that you should be beating, because kind of just looking at their schedule and who they're playing. I mean, by Massey, they're favored to win all of their games. Like none of their games is they got Notre Dame Prep, which it looks like that would be maybe their tightest game. It has it 28-20. But the rest of these games, I mean, yeah, they're either winning by 12 or more, substantially more in the rest of their games. Like down the stretch, Canyon View 41-12, they're favored. Verado 37-14, Tolleson Union 47-6, Raymond Kellis 46-6, 42-14 over Millennium at the end. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to add like 30 more points to each score to make your point of getting into the national conversation, I guess you could follow what Sky Ridge is doing over in Utah and see if that kind of propels you into that conversation, because it has worked well for them. So maybe that is something that takes more into account. But yeah, to what you said, I mean, because they're coming off of, from what I see, a 10-4 season. They won 5A last year in Arizona. I mean, if they have this path to go 10-0, I mean, maybe by season's end, they will be on that kind of on the fringe of being a national top 25 team based on Massey ratings.
All right. Hey, Andy, I'm going to let you go. I got a couple more questions, though. Over here, we got the National High School Football Top 25 according to Rivals. And you see that Massey ratings thing, the logo right below, letting everybody know what the source is. But, Andy, Basha currently sitting at 24. How high do how high, without projecting what they're going to do the rest of the way, but how high do you see them climbing? Where do you think they're going to finish in this national top 25?
Well, looking at the national top 25 and the teams in front of them, other 23, I mean, you're going to have teams that are they're going to drop because they're going to have some losses. Looking at kind of like, let me see here. I'm just trying to see who like
Modern
right
day
above
Bosco,
them.
somebody's going to lose. So
Somebody's going to lose, but then you look at that, like, you're probably not going to fall any further than outside of the top 5. And then they
sure.
usually meet again in the open division playoffs, so they'll have their 2 meetings like they usually do, and however that plays out, it plays out. I got to see both teams. My opinion walking away from it is, I mean, they're both really freaking good. So on Halloween we'll all get to find out who is the best team over in Southern Cal. But kind of right in front of them, I mean, IMG, I look at the game when they play St. Francis on November 7th, and St. Francis Academy out of Baltimore is, I mean, they are a studly
legit
bunch. I mean, you want to talk about a team that trash talks till the day is long, but they can back it up with the way they play ball on the field. That is a rowdy bunch from Baltimore, but they can back it up against, I mean, for me, you're going from Maryland all the way over to Bellflower, California, and you take them to the final minutes and nearly beat them. I mean, think about it as a high schooler. Like,
you're impressed.
I walked away impressed. To me, like, they can't go outside of the top 5 just because they lost by 7 to Bosco. I mean, to me, that's absurd. That'd be egregious. I think that IMG, though, based on how Massey is kind of treating them, I don't think it's impressed really so far with their wins. I mean, their wins right now come against the First Academy out of Florida. They're kind of they're a team that wants to be in the national conversation, but you know, they're playing teams tough. They're not winning games. They just won their first game last week, so that win's kind of hard to judge for IMG. They played Hoover in Alabama. I mean, Hoover just lost their second game to an in-state opponent in Alabama, so I think that hurts IMG's win over them. And then Winslow Township might be the best team that IMG's played to this point, and they're probably the best team in South Jersey. So, I could see IMG losing that game on November 7th, and that could be a team that drops. And Basha, yes, they could potentially be higher ranked than the Academy Ascenders out of Bradenton, because I think it would take that loss, depending on how they lose, because last year IMG lost by multiple scores to St. Francis Academy. So it would give you an idea of like, hey, how far do they drop? Do they drop out of the top 25? I've been hearing from everybody in Florida, how is there only one team in this top 25? Because you could see it as well as I do. There's no other FLs in the
I noticed that. I did notice that. Surprising because of all the talented teams that are in Florida. Look, besides Basha, who are some teams in Arizona that you are keeping your eye on?
Well, I mean, obviously Liberty, coming off that loss to Corner Canyon, which I'm just going to tell you, Chili, they don't need to be down on themselves for that. I mean, this Corner Canyon team they're for real. They came down to Florida. They beat up West Broward, who, you talk to South Florida folks, they're a very talented team. I mean, you could look at their roster of kids that are being recruited. They got several P4 kids. So for Corner Canyon to come in and that Helaman Kasuga kid, I mean, absolute stud. I mean, threw for 300. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns against Liberty. I mean, he's got to be one of the hottest quarterbacks right now when you're talking about level of play. Already over 1,100 yards. I think he's got 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean,
he's a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog. He is a dog. My best McAfee voice I could do. He's a dog.
Besides Basha, besides Liberty, you brought up Brophy. one or two other schools that you know, kind of you're keeping tabs on in Arizona in case they make a move.
You know, you brought up Higley. I mean, but I know when I was looking at Arizona back in kind of the preseason, I was looking at Chandler, but it's looking
with
like
Jai Jones.
Yeah. I was looking at them like, okay, what can they do? I mean, you know, I see they're off to the 1-1 start. They lost to Cathedral Catholic.
Surprised? So. Were you surprised? Were you surprised by them losing to Cathedral? Did you think they were going to get that dub?
I mean, the ratings had it. You know, this final score is 1 point one way, and Massey had it 1 point Chandler's way. So, you know, for me, like, I don't know how much there should be a surprise either way, because it seems like those two teams are pretty tight. I mean, the final score indicates that. So to me, once again, how I try to judge things based off of seeing it once again from, like, you know, way above, I'm like, you beat them by 1. To me, that's a coin toss. I mean, Chandler could have won that game. So, you know, it'd be different if they won 24-0. Then it's like, well, Chandler didn't even have a chance. So, yeah, to me, down the stretch, I mean, hey, you know, we'll see if they can. They got what is it, Hamilton at the end of the season? I mean, to me, that's a game I'm sure everybody's like, they don't have a chance to win that one. But if they could win, if they could pull off that win, I think that would change the minds of a lot of people.
Sheesh. Okay. All right. One more team. That, hold on. And first off, that now that you said that, somebody's going to clip that you said that, and they are going to create some bulletin board material. That's one of the biggest rivalries in the state, probably the country. There have been players that have come out of like Hamilton and Chandler that said that was a bigger rivalry than anything they've been a part of. And those guys have played like in the NFL and, you know, at the highest level. So I just want to let you know that what you did.
All right.
You've officially stirred the pot now. So one more school that you're keeping an eye on. You brought up, we've discussed Basha, Liberty, Higley, Chandler now, Desert Edge a little bit. One more school in the state of Arizona that you're keeping an eye on, keeping tabs on.
I think it was a team I just, like you said, I think I gave them bulletin board material. I think it's Hamilton. I mean, these guys, hey, they're averaging over 60 points in their first couple games. I mean,
Roy Oliver's got 8 touchdowns on 17 receptions. That's insane.
That is an insane stat. That is something that needs to be written up on. But I mean, they're gonna face Brophy on the 19th. I mean, you know, based on Massey, it's got them winning by 20, so comfortably. You know, Chandler at the very end. I mean, by all accounts, they should go undefeated. They should go 10-0. This is a team that's absolutely loaded.
All right. Hey, listen. Hey, Andy, I really appreciate you stopping by, hanging out with your boy. I got to get you back on the show. We got to talk prospects and things like that, and really get in deep dive into some of these 27s, 28s that we got coming up, because the 26s are pretty much done. So, Andy, thank you so much for stopping by and talking some local and national football. I can't say thank you enough.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and I'd love to come on again.
Can't wait. Sheesh. Our guy Andy Villamarzo stopped by.
I hope that Basha was running the film at the end of that when he said that Hamilton should go 10-0, because on October 24, the Huskies visit Basha.
I'm sure that Coach McDonald is going to make sure that his guys, his video guys, have that thing clipped up. So there's officially bulletin board material for Chandler, and Basha. So shout out to my guy Andy on 3 Rivals. the national guy, the big fella.
And just a quick rundown of where some of the Arizona teams are nationally. Basha, the top. This is according to the Max Preps numbers. Basha's number 27. Liberty dropped to 53. Hamilton is 78. Brophy is next at 180. You go down to the 7th spot in the state to find Higley at 226, and then Desert Edge is 10th in the state at 314. And then it does no good to win 104-0 because Andell, Kansas is number 1111, and they just pounded number 11,234. So,
yeah, they are absolutely. Listen, they are absolutely destroying.
I think they're in a much smaller division in Kansas.
I'm pretty sure. I know Andy said that he thinks that they're like in 5A or something like that. I heard that they're like in their 3A. So they're doing some like beyond Saguaro type things to teams. Well, because everybody in Arizona complained when Saguaro played 4A, and from what I've heard, people are doing the same thing.
You had the debate. You had the debate of who's the best, and that's what the Open was originally created to fix. And then and now we're going to have the debate again. At least probably most likely between the 5A team and the winner. So there you go.
Which 5A team would that be? Oh man! Hey, before we get to any of the fun stuff, one thing that I do want to start doing is I want to make sure that we shout out our previous Inside the Numbers spotlight guy from the previous week and what they did, so that we can get that out of the way, so that there are no confusions as to what kind of transpired. So last week, our Inside the Number spotlight guy was the one and only superstar wide receiver from the West Side, going all the way to Minnesota next year to showcase his talents, Rico Blasingame.
I think he had like 5 catches for 64 yards in a 40-18 win over Paradise Valley.
Sheesh, my man Rico's an absolute nasty wide receiver. Love watching him compete. And multi-sport athlete, no big deal. He just does what he does. Coach Walbrock's got an absolute gem over there. And we move forward. Are there any other orders of business that we got to take care of?
No, I think that's it. I was taking my notes on the national stuff while you had Andy on there.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get right into this Inside the Number segment, and we are going to talk about one. We're going to get into this one first. I was going to save this one for second, but I decided to move this one to first. I did not know that Massey had this game 28-20 or whatever, favoring Desert Edge, but huge matchup over here. We got Desert Edge versus Notre Dame Prep. Listen, on paper, I absolutely love this matchup. Blake Roscoff, the super talented quarterback in the 27 class from Desert Edge, 6'5" dynamo. I know you're going to get into that. Byron Brandon is an absolute stud running back, holds some offers. Wide receiver, Zarek Sidney, golden ticket kid. Aiden Honeywood really blowing up this year. Jelani George, the defensive lineman, that's an absolute dog. Defensive back Cameron Hamiel. I believe that our guy, spell check over here, Camden Hamiel, but Cameron Hamiel, superstar defensive back. Defensive back Jalen Easterling Flores. I absolutely love this kid. I think that he is the future. And one of my favorite defensive backs in the state, Mikhail Davis, absolute problem. On the flip side, Notre Dame Prep. They got a quarterback combination over there. Luke Jacobs and Hunter Stein over there, kind of both splitting reps. They got a running back that kind of broke out. I know you're going to get into his numbers. Decker Haskins Smith. A pair of wide receivers, Matt Friend, Landon Stick coming off the ACL from last year. A pair of defensive linemen. I love Braden Lavinia. He is a legacy over there. Nate Jones is really developing. Mason Pavone, one of the superstar defensive backs that they got. They always seem to have one of those. What they always seem to have one of is a very, very talented linebacker. This year, I believe it is going to be Gunnar Perry, legacy kid, little brother. I don't want to say little brother since he's actually 235, which is heavier than any playing weight that Cooper Perry ever played at. Gunnar Perry is an absolute tackling machine, an absolute monster, talented athlete, can go both ways, can take some carries and play running back. But I think best served if he can focus on defense and carry this Notre Dame Prep defense. Coach Prelock, Coach MacArthur, Gridiron, I'm gonna let you go inside the numbers and break it down and let us know what we need to know.
Yep, we got a 5A game here. Desert Edge 2-0 at Notre Dame, 1-1. Friday night, 7 p.m. at NDP in Scottsdale. It's 98th Street and Bell Road. Last week, Desert Edge shut out Cienega 26-0. Notre Dame lost to Sunny Slope 29-28 on a 53-yard field goal with 2 seconds left,
Crazy.
providing the difference there. The last meeting between these teams was last year, and my time is up there as the buzz has gone off.
Sheesh.
That was just a dryer. Last meeting last year, Notre
worried.
Dame won that game 20-14. Most of the key players in that game last year were seniors. So kind of on both sides, a lot of new guys to this matchup. Looking at Desert Edge, you got quarterback Blake Roscoff, the junior, 543 yards, 5 TDs this season. Running back Corey Frazier is a junior. He had 106 yards rushing last week. Wide receiver Aiden Honeywood, he's a junior, had 133 yards in the opener against Cactus Shadows. Of course, you have Zarek Sidney, the wide receiver, junior, has 29 offers, including ASU, USC, and Washington.
Including ASU's golden ticket. You got to say
yes,
including ASU's golden
he's
ticket.
a golden ticket holder for ASU. When one of them, there was 6 of them. Is that what there was?
There is 6. There's 6.
A couple guys on defense. Linebacker Kai Wells, he's a sophomore, has 3.5 sacks. And defensive back Ramari Hodge is a senior. He had an interception last week and a forced fumble. For Notre Dame, they've been using a couple different quarterbacks, Luke Jacobs and Hunter Stein. Looks like they just put their stats in today, so I didn't have everything on their total numbers. But they seem to have shared the attempts last week. Hunter Stein threw for quite a bit more yards last week. I know Jacobs kind of filled in and started a few games last year due to injury. Running back Decker Haskins Smith, he's a junior, had 193 yards in their opener against Yuba Catholic. He only had 7 carries in the game against Sunny Slope last week. Landon Stitch, who's a wide receiver, senior, he had a touchdown rushing last week and had 15 carries for 93 yards. So kind of doing a dual running back receiver situation. And then on defense, you got linebacker Gunnar Perry. Let's see what he had last. He had 14 tackles last week, 8 solo. And defensive end Nate Jones, he's a junior, had 2 sacks against Yuma Catholic, and he had 2 sacks against Sunny Slope. So he comes into this one with 4 sacks already on the season.
Yeah, hey, I think Coach Prelock is going to have his guys ready to go. I like his team. I like what they bring to the table. I think Coach Smith, the defensive coordinator, is absolutely phenomenal, and their new OC, Coach DeGranier, formerly from Mesa, does great things as the OC. The way they lost last week, absolute heartbreaker.
I think there was a late interception too that led to the field goals. What I remember seeing
from the clips that I have seen, it was an absolute circus of a way to lose, and literally a heartbreak.
Reed Mitzel, the Vikings kicker there, a 53-yarder, and he did not kick the other 2 field goals that Sunny Slope got during the game. So I don't know what the situation was there, but their other kicker, Lucas Goldstein, was 2 for 2 on field goals, kicked both extra points. And one of the 2 field goals he made was a 44-yarder. So Sunny Slope, who has a good history in the special teams department, had a guy kick a 44-yarder and a different guy kick a 53-yarder last week.
I think it's difficult to I think it's difficult to lose a game like that. Like if you're going to lose, you might as well get blown out. I listen. I've always had that mentality.
It's easier to put it behind you, I guess, but
like even like playing pickleball, like you play games to 11 or 15 or whatever. I'd rather lose 11-1 or 11-2 than lose like 11-9 or 11-10. Like then I get consumed and try to figure out.
Guessing, because obviously
100%.
You can come up with 10 plays. Where if something happened different, the result would be different in a 1-point game. Yes,
for sure. And I think that we're dealing with kids still. So like, I think
Mhm.
that for some of these kids, like it is going to be somewhat consuming. I know that Coach Prelock will get his guys refocused and
And Coach
whatever.
Prelock lost a lot of close games last season, so
Yes.
so he's
So
he's kind of used to them putting it behind him and getting ready for the next opponent.
now, Coach MacArthur, on the other hand, as you brought up,
Yep.
handed out a donut last week. Went all the way to Tucson to do that too. He
South
wanted
of
to deliver
Tucson.
that donut very, very badly.
That's
So
down in Vail, where Cienega
all
is.
went all the way to the south. Shout out to our guy
That
Justin
defense
Spears.
is always on point with Coach MacArthur.
Yeah, facts. So he went out and handed Justin Spears alma mater a donut. And I loaded with talent. I'm gonna go with the Massey ratings on this, and I'm gonna
You gonna
side
go
with Desert
28-20?
I don't know if I'm gonna go 28-20, but I did say that Desert Edge was gonna win by what average of like 21 and a half or something like that. I think I put
I
that
believe you did.
number
Now,
out
they
there.
only won the first one by 8, and they won the last one by 26. So
we're
currently looking at 17. So they're below the number.
We're getting there. So let's just see what happens versus NDP. But I am going to take Desert Edge for a couple reasons. One of those being we projected Desert Edge to go undefeated. So I already know which way you are going. So we are going to end up both.
And we both had
getting
Basher
this game.
going undefeated too.
Yes.
Going back to
we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. All right. So Gridiron, you're up. I've chosen Desert Edge, and I'm gonna guess which one you chose. But
Did you throw a score out there, or no? What are you gonna go with here? Are you gonna be close?
No, I didn't throw a score out, but I'll let you do it because
it's gonna be an 11-1 pickleball. Is that where you're going with?
Oh, sheesh!
We're waiting for the Desert Edge offense to break out. They scored 26 and 27, but we talk about all the talent that's on there, and Sydney hasn't had that big game yet, and I think we're waiting to see the running backs come out in the big game. I don't know if it's going to be this week or not.
Wow! Time out. Coach Goodlow, Gridiron is talking to you right now. This second, Gridiron is talking to you.
I think
Coach Goodlow.
Well, you were talking about them winning by an average of 21 per game or something. So if you win 26-0, you do it, but you got to hold the other team to 0 or 3 every week if you're going to score in the 20s. Wow. Desert Edge held Cienega last week to 50 yards of total offense. I mean, that's pretty. No matter who the opponent is, let alone a 5A team that has a decent shot at making the playoffs. That's quite an accomplishment right there defensively. I'm going to say Desert Edge 33-14.
Man, that's big. That's big. 33-14. Okay. All right. I'll take that. You know what? I'm gonna take that. And then we are gonna move forward. Up next, our next order of business is we do got a new inside the number spotlight player that we are going to discuss.
2 in a row now.
Oh yeah, we're officially what, 2-1 right now?
Yeah, 2-1.
We're okay. We won back to back. They officially call that a winning streak. So up next, we do got an inside the number spotlight player that we are going to talk about. One of my favorite players in the state that I've been talking about for a while. I gotta save this. Hold on. I hope this doesn't mess anything up. Boom. There we go. All right. On the yellow pad. Shout out to K Visuals. Occasionally there's a typo, but I don't think that there's any over here. Inside the number spotlight player on Avion Williams, Casa Grande edge athlete, tight end. North Carolina commit. Gridiron, I'm gonna let you take us inside the numbers on the super talented Chapel Bill commit.
Yeah, Avion Chapel Williams. Bill. Avion Williams from Casa Grande, 6'6", 250 is a tight end. North Carolina commit. He also gets snaps at defensive end. Unfortunately, Casa Grande does not have any stats entered for 2025 yet, but we'll go back to last year. I guess I should check that just because Notre Dame got theirs in today. Let's make sure that Casa Grande didn't, so that we give the accurate. Let's get the right Casa Grande, not the one in California. I hit the wrong one. Just a minute. I hate when you hit the wrong one. Okay, let's go down here.
Dang. You hit the other Casa Grande? How many Casa Grandes are there?
There's 2. There's one in California, I think.
Oh, holy smokes.
Petaluma, I believe, is where that was.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair.
Okay, There we go. It's coming. No stats. No stats posted yet.
No
Last
stats.
year, Avion Williams, 36 catches, 771 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Plus, he had 2 rushing TDs, and he had 4 sacks on defense. He's a natural athlete that plays basketball also. He averaged 16.5 points per game last winter. Just a massive frame. He uses that size and strength well, which helps with the 50-50 balls. You know, get in the end zone there. He's tough to bring down after catches, obviously, 6'6", 250. You know, you start running downhill there. He was offered by North Carolina in May during spring ball, went on an official visit to Chapel Hill there in June, and then he committed a couple days after his visit over the summer. I did find out through some people that tweeted during the game, his first game this year against ALA Gilbert North, he had 5 catches for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus an interception. So when you have a star player that's putting that stuff up, 118 yards and 3 touchdowns, maybe you should enter them into Max Preps so that everybody can see
Dang.
that instead of just whoever read the tweet. He's the
Whoa.
top-rated tight end in Arizona. And this week, Casa Grande 1-1 will be at Maricopa 1-1 on Thursday night.
Dang, Gridiron over here bringing the heaters.
We love the stats. We love to go inside the numbers over here. We got to have numbers.
No, we have to have numbers, and you only get one opportunity to be inside the number spotlight guy. But more importantly, Avion, you got to go get us this dub this week
on the road, going up to the Copa. Yeah.
Hey, you got to get us this dub this week because we're trying to put together this 3-game winning
last
streak.
week. And that game that they played against ALA Gilbert North, that was a 2-point game. You know they won last week.
Yes. Yeah.
Never mind.
All right. Which we are going to get to right now.
Be worried if you're Desert Edge people, because Chili's been the kiss of death so far.
The manual standings. It's looking bad.
This week. Look at there. Hey, you get a little hole to dig out of. So
it's
for those of you on the audio, it's 4-1 right now in favor of Gridiron.
Oh man, it's trouble right now, but it's still early in the season.
It's still early. There are many weeks to go.
I can come back. I can still come back and make this thing work. So I fully plan to. And also we do have the MTV Rock and Jock 120-point game at the end of the season, where I usually try to pick one game, an upset. I usually try to pick an upset.
Yep.
I usually try to pick the upset. And if I win,
you might have whoever
Gridiron washes out all the losses.
Title.
Gridiron washes out all the losses. I will not be picking against the following teams, though. I will not be picking against the following teams. I will not pick against Liberty. I will not pick against Desert Edge. So I will not pick against the following teams because I have already said that those teams are unbeatable, even though Liberty lost. So there's that. Listen, I'm fully committed, and I'm not recognizing the whatever took place up in Draper. So I just want to put that out there. But
I wonder if they set that up to be a return visit next year.
Yeah, I believe Corner Canyon's coming.
Corner Canyon coming next year?
I'm pretty sure Corner Canyon.
Because I remember they did that with Corona Centennial. They did a 2-year deal where they went 1 year and Centennial came here 1 year.
I am pretty sure that they are coming back. I'm pretty sure that they're going to run that thing back, and
maybe it will be a really hot night.
Coming back. Yes. All right. We do have one more game that we are going to break down, go inside the numbers on. This is going to be a very, very good game. I have seen both of these teams this season already. I am super excited. Perry traveling to Brophy, and I have seen both of these teams take what I'd like to call ugly losses.
Yeah.
I saw Perry lose to Granite Hills this past weekend, and I saw Brophy lose week 1 to Basha. Brophy was not fully healthy. And Perry, I think they just struggled. I think they just struggled.
That's a good team in Granite Hills.
They are. Hey, Zachary Benitez is a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Zachary Benitez is a stud quarterback that me and you talked about.
I know that Perry got him last year, but let's see what Grant. We talked about where all those Arizona teams were ranked nationally. Let's see what Granite Hills is on the national level here after
on the good old Massey.
Perry 238.
Okay,
so that puts them right about in line with where Higley was.
Yes. That's yeah. Look, hey, this year's going to be a heck of a matchup. Perry with Coach Ortiz leading the way, and their golden ticket ASU kid,
Yes. Another
Kale Snyder, another golden ticket kid. We were talking about
two
another
golden ticket guys in one night.
Hey, I think we've talked about like no, I don't.
Well, I just
I'm
meant
not sure.
two. I
Maybe
just
we
meant
have,
two
but,
tonight.
but yeah, we got Okay, so
I knew
Amos Augustine, who peeled off for the early touchdown for Perry this past week. I did not know that he had the juice like that, but my man was moving. Max Wendell Schaefer looks solid. Also a typo over here on the last name. Apologize. Ricky Stewart, linebacker, was all over the place. This kid's an absolute stud. Love watching him work. And then running back athlete, because he also flips around and plays some linebacker, Talon Frazier, one of my favorite players in the class. And then defensive back Devin Starpey. On the flip side, head coach, my guy Jason Jewell. Jason, human name. Usually just call him Coach Jewell. I think that's how he saved in my phone. Players to watch over there. Case Vanden Bosch is an absolute stud of a quarterback. I love watching him work. Been watching him since his freshman year. Wide receiver Devin Fitzgerald, who I believe might be the best football player in the class. Wide receiver Dalen Sharper, super talented, multi-sport athlete. Defensive back James Pike, defensive back Deshaun Crine. James Pike might have one of the highest IQs of any defensive player in the state. Linebacker Bastian Vanden Bosch is an absolute stud. The X factor over here is what my man Julian Ferrari, Zoom does. This kid is so talented. Defensive back, can play some wide receiver. I'm not sure how Coach Jewell is going to take advantage. And they got a ton of freshmen. They got a ton of freshmen that are playing up and playing early. So, yes, one of them being Bishop Allen, who's an absolute stud of a defensive back. So, Gridiron, I'm going to let you jump inside the numbers and tell us a little bit about this. And I cannot forget our guy running back, Harrison Pinball Chambers, because when he is out there taking the ball, boop, 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 hey, he's doing this thing.
We got a 6A game here between Perry 1-1 and Brophy 1-1. Notice when Chile doesn't go to your game, you win. Friday, 7 p.m. at Central High School. Central is just south of Camelback, obviously on Central Avenue. Last week, Perry lost to Granite Hills, California, 27-20. Brophy went up to Colorado and defeated Regis Jesuit 44-18. So a nice bounce back win for the Broncos. Last meeting, they played each other last year. Brophy won 24-20. And Case Vanden Bosch in that game had a touchdown pass and a rushing touchdown to go with his 104 yards on the ground. So Perry going to have to control that mobile quarterback. Perry just put their stats in today from the game last Saturday.
Irritating.
Just kind of looking at those here. We got Cale Snyder, the junior quarterback, 6'3", 200, 21 offers, including ASU, Kentucky, Indiana, and Washington. And that's a golden ticket, right?
That is a golden ticket.
That is a golden ticket. I figured you were going to pipe in there with that one. A couple of running backs that they've used. Talon Frazier is a junior, and Vaughn Patterson a senior. In the first game, Patterson had 108 yards rushing. It looks like last week they were kind of held pretty much in check. They had 71 yards total rushing and 120 passing. Amos Augustine, the sophomore, who you mentioned getting the touchdown, he has 6 offers, including ASU, Purdue, and Arizona. Over on the Brophy side, you got quarterback Case Vanden Bosch, a senior, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 2 rushing touchdowns, an Air Force commit. Running back Harrison Pinball Chambers, senior, 107 yards last week in the win. Wide receiver Devin Fitzgerald, the senior, has touchdowns in each game. And in that game against Basha, had 10 catches for 92 yards against, arguably the top team in the state. And he, of course, is a Notre Dame commit. A couple guys defensively. You got defensive end John Michael, a junior, had 9 tackles and 2 sacks in last week's game. And Deshaun Crine, a cornerback senior, 7 tackles last week. He's a Montana State commit.
He's special. I'm telling you, man, these kids, Brophy's so loaded with talent. And when it fully comes together, I think that,
it sounds like it came together on that road trip. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they took the bus up there also. I don't know.
I mean, they could have walked up there and probably still got that dub.
I'm referring to because Liberty took that 10-hour bus trip to.
I heard it was like 13 or 14 hours.
I don't know. Bus is stopping a few times, so it was 50.
Yeah, highly likely. I heard that it was crazy long.
Yeah,
But,
there was some traffic.
but look, man. I saw Perry. They had a rough go of things last weekend. I love.
Yeah, it sounds like they were in the game. I mean, 27-20.
They were. There was more penalties in that game than I'd ever seen.
Overall.
Overall, there's a
Overall,
lot
yeah.
of offsetting penalties. When I was there, oh man, I got there a little bit.
13 game at halftime. So it looks like it was kind of throughout.
It was kind of close. It looked like Granite Hills had some control though. Dude, I think I know what direction you're going to go.
More plays. It looks. I can tell you that, especially running. Yeah. So it looks
I think
they controlled the field pretty much in terms of time of possession.
I think I know which way you're going to go. I'm going to let you pick first on this one though. I'm going to let you pick first.
This is a big game for Brophy because next up on the schedule for them is Hamilton and Red Mountain. So we keep talking about all the talent that Brophy has. If they fall in this one and go to 1-2 and then have Hamilton Red Mountain up next, that could really, put a dent in things. So I think Brophy wins it. I think it's going to be another close game like it was last season. I'm going to go 31-27.
31-20. Okay, so you got Brophy. You got Brophy winning. Dang. Okay. All right. That is trouble because I think I got Brophy winning also. I actually thought that you were going to go with Perry. I thought that you were going to take Perry. I got to go Brophy in this one.
Brophy got it together last week on that game in Colorado. That might have been impetus. Plus, I can't imagine them being 1-4. If things, Red Mountain's on the rise. And of course Hamilton's explosive on offense right now. So if they were to lose this, they'd probably be underdogs in the next two games.
Man, this is super tough. Cale Snyder, probably the top 27 quarterback, one of the top 27 quarterbacks that I've seen nationally, and Devin Fitzgerald, the top player, who I believe is the top player in the state. Look, man, I'm gonna go with Brophy because I think coming off a dub like that and then the long ride home, it's easier to get prepared, get refocused, and reset mentally, get everything right. Going into a game like this than it is to lose the weird one at home and try to get reset.
Was there a good crowd out there for that on the Saturday?
So it was tough because shout out to our guy Coach Catanzaro, friend of the show.
Right, that was going on at the same time. Yeah,
that was going on at they started about an hour earlier, and there was a lot of
I heard it was
people from the football community for that. There was a lot of the football community. I would say that the home side was about 80% full, maybe a little bit more. And I would say that the away side was probably about half-ish. So
for the Perry game or for the
Lake Forest game.
Okay.
Lake Forest and Mud Scripts. Gosh, what is it?
Claremont Mud Scripts.
Claremont.
Who won the game 14-7.
Yeah. I should show them a little bit more love, but they only have 5 Arizona kids. But one of them went to Brophy, so there's that. I'm definitely going to go. I'm going to pick Brophy to win this one.
Okay.
I think Perry's just going to have to figure some things out, and listen, they might prove us wrong, but I think Brophy gets another one and puts this winning streak together, and really gets very
providing bulletin board material what we are. So.
Oh sheesh! Come on, man! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't.
Well, I'm just saying. We took the same.
Oh man. Yeah. No. Hey, look. So there's not going to be too change in our personal standings. We both got that. We both got Desert Edge. We both got Brophy. What did you put? You said 31-27.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be close. I think there'll be some points scored in that game. A lot of offense going on in that game.
If there's a team that gets 30 points, it's going to be Perry, though. That's my problem with the score.
Well, Brophy put 44 on the board last week.
Yeah, but I told you they could have walked to Regis Jesuit and got that win. They could have walked from Brophy starting on Monday, carried their equipment up to Regis Jesuit.
If I recall, they pasted them pretty good last year when they came here.
I just listen, and I'm not trying to throw shade, but I guess bulletin board material for any Colorado team. I just don't think too highly of those Colorado teams up there. Like we always beat the brakes off of them.
Last year was 44-0 that they beat Regis Jesuit.
I mean, Chandler, Saguaro back in the day, they absolutely ran Valor Christian.
Saguaro Chandler went up to Valor Christian, right?
And Saguaro did also.
And they played them there at Valor.
Yeah, and what's it called?
Was like the premier program that had like a stuff like that.
And what's it called? I believe that was Bryce Perkins' year, and I if I'm not mistaken, I think that was like one of the McCaffreys were up there. I think the quarterback was.
I think the quarterback was, yeah.
And then Max Massengale, I believe, from Saguaro, absolutely destroyed them.
That was the same
Cherry Creek from Colorado came down here and played Chandler. Also got whooped on. I don't know. Maybe that game was close, but you know what I'm saying anyway. So it's just every time you see AZ and CO, it's always AZ destroying CO. Like always. It's never close. Always. Never close. So there's that. Anyways, Gridiron, do you know what games you're going to this week?
I will be checking out Higley. They're going to be on the road at Mesa this week. Higley's kind of creeping up into like most people's top 5 in the rankings. Off the 2-0 start, and go see what Coach Hathcock's got over there at Mesa. Mesa big loss last week to Mountain View, but they come in at 1-1. So
hey, Gunnar Fagrell, Justice Brathwaite,
John
Astaro, love watching them.
Penitentiary defense over there.
Yes. The Higley Penitentiary
playing really well defensively. Let me get Higley up here. Higley's
Nasim.
Higley has allowed 19 total points this season. And years past, we always used to talk about Higley offense, and scoring all those points. They've held the Coronado team that's going to get destroyed by IMG this week. They held the Coronado team to 13, and then they held Highland to 6 in the opener. So. The defense has been showing up pretty well for the Knights so far.
Higley defense tired of the disrespect. # justice for defense. So justice for the Higley defense.
And the BYU commit,
Yeah, the BYU commit. One of my favorite defensive backs in the state. I do think that he might be the best cover corner in the state, pure cover corner.
A former Flight Club MVP.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's an absolute stud. Also Nasim Easton, a legacy over there, a legacy kid. So want to make sure I shout him out, show him some love. I think that Higley defense is absolutely.
Last week I was out at the Tukey Bowl, saw 90 points on the board with Mountain Point being Desert Vista 55-35.
Oh my goodness! Since you brought it up, I was told that by some impartial people, and I'm just trying to ask. I need you to envision this. I need you to place this vision into your mind. I was told Desert Vista had like 132 turnovers. And if they cut their turnovers in half, they probably win this game. Is that true? Because they kept giving Mountain Point the short field.
Basically, the way the game started, Desert Vista turned the ball over the first 3 times that they had the ball. And all 3 of those possessions, Mountain Point started on the 30-yard line or closer, or the 20-yard line or closer. They started all 3 of their first 3 possessions in the red zone. And so it was 21-0 after a quarter. And it was a game that Mountain Point ultimately won by 20. So, yeah, you can certainly make the argument that if the first quarter train wreck doesn't happen, Desert Vista would have been right in that game. Because Mountain Point led 24-0, and then Desert Vista got within 6 early in the fourth quarter. They cut it to 34-28 before Mountain Point kind of pulled away in the fourth quarter.
So was Mountain Point just making it rain, just throwing touchdowns?
It was an impressive quarterback going by Jordan Munoz. Went the way at quarterback, and then they also have this freshman Sonny Norwood that they put in as a Wildcat quarterback. And I think he had 5 carries for 50 yards. Scored a key touch. He's the one that scored the touchdown after Desert Vista had cut it to 6 to give him the cushion again and the 2-score lead. So he did that, and then the defense came up with a total of 6 turnovers in that game. I think it was 4 fumble recoveries and 2 interceptions.
So the defense is carrying this Mountain Point team.
Well, you can't argue that when they give the offense the ball 3 times inside the 20-yard line. Definitely.
Hey, shout out,
Mountain Point did score 34 in their opener.
shout out to Coach Pinkard, man.
And,
Shout out to Coach
and
Pinkard in DC.
Mountain Point has Mountain Ridge this week, and then the big one that they've been talking about since preseason. They play Desert Edge. I think it's in 2 weeks. Not next week. It's in 2 weeks. They play Desert Edge.
Sheesh, Mountain Point keep rolling. We might have to inside the numbers that Desert Edge Mountain Point matchup.
Have to bring Desert Edge back, huh?
Sheesh, and find out if one of us changes our minds. I don't know if that's likely. But
we could exercise a difference from what we had in July or August or whenever we talked about them.
Hey,
let me pull up Mountain Point's schedule real quick. Mountain Point has Mountain Ridge this week, and then they have Desert Mountain. And then that game is at Goodyear on September 26th against Desert Edge. So you could have, you could have a 4-0 Mountain Point against a 4-0 Desert Edge.
Hey, shout out to Coach Pinkard, the defensive coordinator over there at Mountain Point, doing his job, making sure that his defense is carrying that team properly. Grant, I always appreciate you hanging out on the show and contributing the Inside the Numbers segment. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Gridiron always holding down the community. Manual scoreboard fully in full effect.
Yep. It was a late one last week because that game didn't end until after 10.
Oh, sheesh. Okay. Well, listen, the manual scoreboard is going up no matter what.
I don't think I put it up till close to midnight.
Oh, really? Dang. All right. Well, hey, Gridiron, we always appreciate you and everything that you do. We do got our guy, Adam Beetle, coming up next. Beetlejuice. So we're going to go straight to him. Gridiron, I'll catch you next week. 2 new teams, 1 new spotlight kid.
Adam's got a big game this week. Make sure you ask Adam where he's going this week.
Oh, sheesh. I will for sure. Adam. All right, Gridiron.
Let's get it.
Shout out to my guy BJ Media for hooking it up with some of the clips from the Olu Basha game, which got super duper close. Hey, right out the gate. So before we get into anything, Adam, what game are you going to? That Gridiron was so.
I'm going to be at Basha Williamsfield calling it on the radio. So I should be. I'm excited. I think it should be a lot of fun. I think that this is probably going to be the biggest test for Basha's defensive line so far this season. And
we said that about Olu, though.
Good. Here's what I want to know, though. Do we generally think that Basha would beat IMG Academy?
Yeah, sure. Why not? This year? I don't see why not.
Is IMG having that low of a year this year?
Look, man. I mean, I think this is also part of the rest of the country kind of just catching up. And like IMG, they still recruit nationally. They're a private prep school that houses their athletes for the most part. And at the end of the day, though, IMG still costs, like for the ones that don't get fully scholarship, still costs like $80,000 a year. So like, who's paying that? Like the depth over there isn't like what it used to be. This is just like any other situation. And across the country, NIL is becoming a thing. Kids would rather make their name locally, get paid a little bit, than pay out the wazoo and go play for IMG right now. This is the lowest that I've seen IMG in the rankings. Talking to Andy earlier, but hey, full troll job because my man did say that Basha was going to be 9-1, and I had to get him. Your boy Chili had to let him know, remind him of what he did. So there's that, because he said 9-1 in the regular season. He said 9-1 and fall short of the state title. That means that he actually thought that they were going to lose 2 games. So he thought that they were going to lose to Olu. And he probably thought that they're going to lose to Liberty down the line. So there's that. I just wanted to put that out there for everybody that's been hanging out with us. But my guy, Adam Beetle, we do got something serious to talk about. We have had some struggles. We've had some teams that struggled last week, and we're going to go through some of that and how they can fix things and get back on track and find themselves in possibly this open discussion and possibly national conversations. The first game that we are going to talk about is highly likely the game that I am going to go to this week. We are going to talk about Chandler versus ALA Queen Creek. Both of these teams coming off losses last week. ALA with the heartbreaker to Red Mountain. Chandler with a heartbreaker, holy smokes, to Cathedral Catholic. Adam, putting your team analyst hat on. How does Chandler recover? It's early. They're 1-1. How do they recover from this Cathedral Catholic heartbreaker?
Well, first of all, I think you got to give credit to Chandler where credit is due to play a really good team in Centennial and play them close and what is a really physical football game, and then to have to go to California and play another really great team the next week. That's really hard to do. And I think when you look at that matchup alone going into Chandler Cathedral Catholic, you would think that there would be a little bit of a drop off just because Chandler had played so hard the week one. Then they're on the road. Obviously, you're going to deal with some, like tiredness or sluggishness at times. And we never really saw that from Chandler. I think obviously the one heartbreaking mistake in which cost them the game. But other than that, this is a really solid Chandler game, and I think they just picked up a lot where they left off week one in terms of the passing game and Will Menzel being able to get things going. I think the biggest question mark for me in this Chandler team right now is what does the running back room truly look like? Because you look at last game where Will Menzel is your leading rusher. Yes, that's good. I think he had about 5 carries for 70 yards, which is great. They can get the ball moving, but then you start to get concerned how much should we be letting our quarterback running around the field when he's a guy who did deal with some injury issues last year?
Okay. Yeah, no, that is fair. I know they got Douglas in that running back room. I know that they got some guys that can do things offensively. Look, in this day and age of dual threat quarterbacks, quarterbacks trying to flex and show their athletic ability. Will Menzel, he is one of those super athletic, super dynamic athlete, and can move around, can use his feet to get some yards, and that is clear. It sounds like what you want to see from Chandler moving forward is a development in that actual running back room. You want to see somebody step forward. You want to see another Drake Anderson, a TJ Green, a Chase Lucas type, somebody explode and be the token rusher that carries them to a championship, to playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you look at any of those Chandler teams and a lot of the Chandler teams that have been successful, the reason for that success is because they've had not only a strong pass game, but a really, really strong run game too. And whether that be one or two guys together. So I think that's what they really need to kind of gel to push them forward to the rest of the year. And I think a good point where they can start to attack that is this week against ALA Queen Creek. It's no slight whatsoever that we know that ALA Queen Creek has not had the greatest start defensively, especially when it comes to the run game, right? Look at that game one from Hamilton. Jacob Brown, Skylar Cole both got going. So I think for Chandler, it's how can we look at areas playing this ALA Quinn Creek team where we can pick up that run game. Now, flipping the switch and looking at this ALA Quinn Creek team, this is a team that, in my opinion, is doing all the right things, right? Britt DeWitt last week, 26 for 38, 286 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Obviously, you want to get that one back. Bobby Nesbitt, 23 carries for 144 yards. That's a lot of load, especially when you're also giving the ball to Nash Hall, who had 11 carries as well, 41 yards. So this is a team I think that is in the right spot, doing the right things, making the right decisions. I think they just were stumped by a Hamilton team that was way better than we thought they were week one, and really got the best of the Patriots. And then week two, ALA Queen Creek, I think, is just a couple small plays away from obviously winning the game. Obviously, it came down to the field goal for Red Mountain. Or was it the ALA Queen Creek trying to tie the game and Red Mountain blocked the field goal? I forget how
I think
game
it was
ended.
Queen Creek trying to tie the game.
Got it. Right. So I mean, you look at that, and ALA Queen Creek is in the right place at the right time. They're a field goal away from sending this game to overtime, and Red Mountain got the best of them, got in the backfield, and obviously blocked that. So I think for ALA Queen Creek, it's just take advantage of what's working. Do what you can do and do what you did last week. I think a performance like that and replicating that will be key. Obviously, you're going to face a little bit of a tougher defensive front and tougher secondary as well. So we'll see how Britt DeWitt manages that. But I think if Britt DeWitt throws for 250 or more yards, this is going to be a really close and competitive game.
So it sounds like you want to see this offense get going. I wasn't sure what you were going to say about this ALA Queen Creek team, just because I know they got 10 new starters on defense. So I wasn't sure if you're going to go
obviously
that direction.
Obviously that's the key too. And facing a Chandler team that we know has the capabilities to score, but I think you got to look at some of the guys that have picked up production. Cade Rollins, obviously, Nash Cajon, one of those guys, and they've got multiple other players that they fluctuate in and out on basically every drive that come in and get some meaningful production. They had 59 tackles last week. So I think Chandler is a team that is going to be a little tougher to tackle than Red Mountain, but I think we're going to see a very heavy offensive battle in this game. At least that's what I'm anticipating to see.
Hey, it sounds like you're not out on ALA Queen Creek as far as like possibly being an open team. You're not hitting the panic button for them, but their schedule is difficult. I know they got Liberty on the horizon. Their schedule doesn't get like exactly like easier. Do you still have them pegged as an open team?
I think that they're a contender. I wouldn't say that they're a one of those teams. Like there's 3 teams I think we can absolutely lock in as open teams. That's Liberty, Basha, and Hamilton. And if anybody tells you any different, then that's crazy, because those 3 teams should absolutely be locks in the open.
Okay.
We look at this the 7th and 8th spot, and I think that it's very up in the air on some of the teams that could have it. I think Red Mountain could potentially see that. If Highland finds a way to improve this season, maybe they get an opportunity. I think Mountain View's in that conversation. ALA Queen Creek's in that conversation. I also don't want to count on a team like Pinnacle, who has the strength of schedule and has also had a fairly good start to their season. I know one of those games doesn't really count because it's an out-of-state opponent, but it's still at the mass in which they won that game. I think they're very capable of doing some big things this season and playing some close games. So I'm not entirely counting ALA Queen Creek out for multiple reasons, which I just said, but also it's week 2, and it's so hard to tell. And I think especially looking at the Centennial situation last year, right, where you had a team go 3-7. Obviously, they didn't make the Open, but they still made a far run in the playoffs. We've seen several teams do that over the last couple of years. I think Red Mountain is one of those examples when they made the 6A playoffs a couple of years ago. Centennial, obviously, last year. There's and what ALA Queen Creek will also get after week 5 offensively. That's what I'm saying. I think you have enough time where you can figure out your defense, fix some problems, and then all of a sudden your offense also gets a big boost as well. So how can you be in the right place to take advantage of things week 6 when you have the final region schedule that you have?
Hey, off the top of your head, since you brought it up, what they're getting week 6, is it fair to say that those 2 kids are Khalil and Braylon? Is it fair to say that those are the 2 best football players not playing football right now, due to transfer rule?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I would think so. I mean, these are 2 Division I caliber wide receivers. I can't think of other players at the moment that transferred in that had to sit Division I caliber.
I mean, just off the top of your head. I mean, look, man. I mean, we're not really talking about anybody else or thinking about any. I mean, you're like, you're just
off the top of my head, absolutely.
Okay, I like it. Hey, let's move to this. Let's move to this other game. 2 teams coming off loss. Surprisingly, I think. Listen, I know that the game was kind of in hand or whatever, but somewhat surprisingly, let me see if I can pull this up right here. We got. Well, hopefully it pulls up. Liberty Highland. This is a game versus 2 teams coming off. Here we go. Coming off losses. Highland traveled to Texas and played in a college stadium. I'm just kidding. It wasn't really a college stadium, but it was a high school stadium that really looks like a college
stadium.
Still
ridiculous.
Because they do it different in Texas. So Highland coming off a loss over there. And then Liberty also coming off a loss up in Draper at Corner Canyon, nationally ranked top 10 team in the country. What do you got to see over here? What do you want to see what do you think that you have to see for these teams to get back on track? Let's start with Highland.
Highland, I first of all, I got to give Highland credit for what they had to do in, first of all, going to Texas and then having to endure delay. And I think they were up playing at 5 in the morning. Was that 5 in the morning AZ time, 7 in the morning Texas time?
Yeah.
Regardless, that's an early time to play a game. But I think credit to what this Highland team was able to do in Texas last week. I think they're still figuring some things out, still trying to see what that offense looks like. Raylan Reyes didn't have the best game last week. So I think he'll be absolutely hungry to have a better performance. And I think the biggest thing for Highland is I think they got to kick it into gear and run the ball a little bit more. I think a guy like Cayman Molyneux, just seeing what he was able to do kind of in the offseason, and also some of the scrimmage film that I saw from him and going out and seeing him in person, and what he's kind of been able, the way he's been able to make some plays early on in the season. I think utilizing some of the other players in their run game will be the biggest key for Highland.
All right. Flipping around, talking about Liberty. Look, they lost pretty convincingly up in Draper, but that is a top 10 team in the country. What do you think they got to do in terms to kind of hit this reset button to make sure that they come out firing on all cylinders? What do you want to see from Liberty?
Yeah, to me, in my eyes, just from an outside perspective, obviously not in the team, I feel like Liberty was kind of just stumped by how truly talented Corner Canyon was. Okay. It kind of reminds me of a few years ago when Saguaro went to California and played Sierra Canyon, and just, the game was not competitive whatsoever. And I think the reason why I bring that up is because I think we were surprised by how non-competitive that game was. And in a way, it kind of reminds me of this Liberty Corner Canyon game. But you got to remember about that Saguaro team is that they still went on and won a 6A championship. So there's nothing. I don't think there's anything for Liberty to hang their heads on whatsoever. I think they're still going to make a very deep run. I absolutely think they're going to make the Open Division. And I know they'll make an effort to bounce back this week. I think one of the players in particular that's keeping that team really intact and strong is Zethus. I think he's had a really strong start to the year. I want to know, Chili, from you, what are your thoughts on this two quarterback system that that Liberty seems to be running? I question it. I question how efficient it is and what it will do, how efficient it could be or could not be later on in the season. I know that Colin Thomas knows what's best for his team. He's going to make the right decision, but it's just a different style of football or an offensive play that we've seen from Liberty over the last few years.
This is tough. This is tough. I'm gonna start this out though by recognizing Coach Guinea, who I think is possibly the best defensive coordinator in the state of Arizona, for what he's done to build this Liberty defense the way he has, and still running tip top right now. I think that this is one of the better defenses in the state, even given what took place at Corner Canyon. Man. No secret. No secret. I absolutely hate two quarterback systems. I think part of the problem is because it's tough for a quarterback to get a rhythm shuffling in and out. I'm not Coach Thomas though. Coach Thomas is the winner of 2 Open Division championships at the highest level of football here in the state of Arizona. Yeah. Quite possibly on his way to getting a college opportunity, just like Coach Aguano, Coach Mons, Coach Regal, some of those guys that are over at ASU. I think that Coach Thomas is absolutely fantastic and a genius. I just think that it is so difficult. And on top of that, I don't know if this makes it easier or harder. These two quarterbacks are so different. Braden Stevens is a natural pure passer pocket guy. Jaden Pico, a dual threat kid that has the ability to use his feet and has the capability to create havoc with his feet. He can be an absolute problem. Braden Stevens been in the program for this is his 4th year. He knows the playbook inside and out. He was bred for this. Jaden Pico, transferred in last year, had time to consume the playbook and learn it. And I'm going to guess that he knows it inside out also, because I know that Coach Thomas demands the most of his quarterbacks. I do think that this team would be better served choosing one. And if this is about college opportunities and giving the other kid the best opportunity, I almost think that you could still do the same thing, engineer some blowouts and give QB2 meaningful 3rd quarter, 4th quarter reps. But you have to decide who's QB1, who's QB2, who that offense has to follow. Just because, not that you have to do things cookie cutter and do what everybody else does, but I think the football team needs to know who its leader is. The offense
Right.
needs to know who its leader is. And, I know Coach Thomas is doing whatever he feels is best for his program. So I'm really trying not to sound like I'm judging that. And, he knows better than I do. And I know that you kind of said the same thing in asking me the question. So I'm not sure where they go from here.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a definitive QB1.
I think one thing that strikes my mind and just popped into my head while we were sitting here is the idea of, I think that this Liberty offense is so complex because, like you mentioned, a guy like Stevens who is a pure pocket passer, and then a guy like Pico who can use his legs, is very dual threat, can move around a ton in the pocket. I would enjoy the idea of possibly seeing different quarterbacks starting in different games based on the defense they are facing. And I say that because I think Liberty has some different style of backs in their backfield in terms of, the difference in speed, difference in power, difference in some of the capabilities they're able to do versus long and short yard situations. I think there's so many opportunities for them to create different sort of packages when you got wide receivers like Camden Siegel, wide receivers like Braxton Huynh. If it's a team that you're going to have advantage in the secondary, when you're going to have wide receivers that are going to be able to blow past corners, I think that's exactly when you play a guy like Braden Stevenson. You have him in the pocket. You're able to, hey, I know Braxton Huynn's going to run a go route, and I know he's going to be open. I know I'm going to be able to just chuck that thing 60 yards downfield, and he's going to haul it in and score. Or maybe you're facing a team that has better pass rush capabilities than maybe your offensive line might not be able to handle. Not saying that Liberty's offensive line wouldn't be able to handle, because I think Liberty's offensive line is going to be able to handle any team they play. But you might want to have a guy like Jaden Pico, who is able to move around as much as possible, and if needed to escape and get off with his legs and hit the sideline and go. I think it'll be interesting, and I think Liberty has the opportunity to explore that based on their schedule and some of the teams they play and their pass rush capabilities or their capabilities in the secondary. So I know it's unique, it's different, and I'm sure it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Some people are probably like, Adam, this is stupid. I don't understand it, but I just think that Liberty's offense is so complex. It truly is. And the way Colin Thomas is able to kind of look at it and go through it every single week just amazes me. And I think that's the reason why they've had such sustained success over the last couple of years.
Hey, look, man, Coach Thomas has coached two Open Division championship teams, and I've picked against him both times. He definitely knows more football than I do, so I am not trying to question him. If he says that he wants to run two quarterbacks and make this thing go until he actually loses a championship game, I'm definitely not questioning anything. The loss versus Corner Canyon, I'm not investing too much stock into that. I watched some of the film. Looked like some of the guys were a little bit sluggish, and I'm not sure how much of that has to do with the 15-hour, 13-hour bus ride up there. I know they went up early. Coach Thomas, very, very smart, said, hey, listen, our guys are going to take a couple days off to get up there early, get some practices in. They practice at Southern Utah, from what I heard. So I'm sure he had a solid game plan. Me knowing Corner Canyon, having been out there covering games, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some heat from the Corner Canyon folks or whoever. I know that they sometimes have a tendency to do the opponents a little bit dirty with accommodations. Not something that us good folks here in Arizona are likely to do for our guests. I know that Chandler took care of IMG, Centennial took care of St. Thomas Aquinas, Bishop Gorman, and Mater Dei when Mater Dei came out here and mollywopped them. I know that Basha was good to Orange Lutheran. So, it's just different, and it's, sometimes the world of high school football is super cutthroat. Not making any excuses for the loss. It was a loss. But Adam, I am curious. I already know where you think Liberty is going moving forward. Your thoughts on Highland? Do they have a shot at really cracking this Open Division playoff? Do you think that they could be one of those 12 teams for the play-in? Do you think that they're going to be one of those teams that gets locked in? I mean, where do they go, because they are off to an 0-2 start?
Yeah, I think that this game is going to matter a lot for the way they look at the rest of the season, the trajectory they have. I know Brock Farrell has never gone 0-3 in his time as a head coach at Highland. Ever. So you look at their schedule after Liberty. They play Perry, Saguaro, Castile, Horizon, and then you get into the region play, which is Desert Ridge, Red Mountain, and Mountain View. So like I said, Red Mountain View is one of those teams I think is a contender for that last open spot. Red Mountains absolutely could be one of those teams to be a contender for the last open spot. I feel like we say that every single year about Red Mountain.
Yeah.
Horizon obviously is not an open team, but I think that chunk in the middle of the season after this week against Liberty, when you have Perry, Saguaro, Castile, Horizon, Desert Ridge, I think if you win every single one of those games and either win both or win one of the games, your last two games of the season against Red Mountain or Highland, I think the Red Mountain game obviously is going to be a very high intense rivalry game. And those games are also both home for Highland. So maybe that adds in a factor. I think there is absolutely still a chance that Highland, based on the way the rest of the season could go, could possibly sneak themselves into the Open. If not, they will 100% be one of the top 5 teams in 6A.
Oh, sheesh. That's what I like to hear. All right. As we move forward, Adam, before I let you go, I'm just curious at any performances, any individuals that absolutely stand out to you that you are surprised by or whatever, surprised that it's a slow start, surprised that they got off to such a hot start. Except, and I am not going to let you talk about it, your own alum from your old high school. You do not get to talk
Roy
about Roy Oliver, who being Cam Cox interviewed yesterday on our Drop and Dime show. Roy Oliver is exempt from this conversation. Who else in the state has surprised you with either a slow start or getting off to such a fast start?
Well, I'm going to stick in Chandler at least and go over to Valley Christian. And Caleb Goldman, man, what a start he has had. He had 5 touchdowns last week. Just look today, he's got like 523 yards, something like that, which is 103rd nationally amongst all running backs. So he's really been the key for this Valley Christian team that's 3-0 to start the year. I know they're still figuring some things out in the passing game, but their defense has been lights out. And Goldman too has looked exceptional. So really excited to watch him and that Valley Christian team. Also another running back, Bodie Zamorano set the school record for rushing yards at Horizon. So congrats to him. And that's a really cool accomplishment. And I feel like year after year after year, like he just never disappoints and he's just a great ball player. So it's super fun to watch him. And those are the two guys. I mean, Roy Oliver too. He was a standout. He caught 6 touchdowns.
He's got eight of them, and
I think he's got that many. Or is it 9? Is it 8 or 9?
No. Well, he's got 8 receiving touchdowns on 17 catches.
A little bit more than 6 or 7.
Me more than 6 or 7. Wow. This guy, he couldn't resist.
I had to.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Hey, anyways, a lot of talent in the state. Adam, appreciate you stopping by. I'm gonna let you breathe a little bit, let you get ready for the games that are coming up. Freshman game tomorrow. Are you down? Are you down to hit up a freshman game?
I gotta see because I totally forgot that I have a class thing. So we will talk about that off the air.
Okay, sounds good. I am definitely hitting up a freshman game tomorrow. I should be in town just in time.
I need to get with one though. I'm gonna get to one. I'm for sure gonna be at Basha Hamilton. Basha Hamilton freshman. I will be there. That's a lock.
Sheesh.
And 100% am there.
Of course, he's gonna watch Hamilton and my guy Grant Zemla and Preston DeGaffin Reed and all those studs over there. Hamilton should have a team that is either 1 loss or no losses. So it's either one or donut for them. So Adam, I will catch you later. Beetlejuice, and you are out of here.
Let's get it.
No big deal, just some highlights from Olu. And that part of the package actually looked like it was all Olu highlights at the end. So shout out to BJ Media and Trey Snap for putting it all together. some things that I do want to do. I do got to shout out my donut dogs because we had some teams hit me up, letting me know, reminding me that they put some donuts on the board. And I'm going to start off with, let's see here. Who should I start off with? Let me start off with, since we already talked about them a couple times on the show, pretty much during every segment, I think. One thing that I do want to start off with is our guys over there on the west side, Desert Edge. They went down to Tucson, to Vail to be more exact, and handed Cienega that donut, the high school of super talented media person, radio guy in Tucson, Justin Spears. So want to show some love to Desert Edge, Coach MacArthur and the squad. He's his own defensive coordinator, so definitely going to show him some love. And Desert Edge, 26-0 over Cienega, their first time as one of the donut dogs. So there's that, and we removed them from the board. And who's up next? Let's see. I think we got like 5 or 6 people that hit me up. So want to show some love to. I think this is one of those Southern teams. So let's stay around that area since we had a recipient and whatever. We have Tank Verde who put it on Palo Verde, 69-0. Big victory over there. So shout out to them. Some donut dogs, and maybe send them some donuts. Trying to find a sponsor for this segment first. So just give me some time, and I'm pretty sure I'll find somebody that's down to contribute. Who else do we got? I think we got, let's see here. Oh, I see. Listen, I don't want to say that I'm surprised by this one, but shout out to new head coach, Coach Lauer over there at Corona del Sol, donut dog for the first time. Corona del Sol beat Apple Valley 31-0. Man, I'm impressed. Apple Valley had some dudes last year. Don't know what happened, but Corona del Sol gave them a healthy donut, if you will. Who else do we got? We got let's see. We got here you go. This is sheesh. I believe that this is another Southern team handing out a donut all the way down in I want to say it's Marana Mountain View in Tucson. I'm not sure if it's Marana Mountain View, but maybe they're Marana's rival. Mountain View over there in Tucson, Arizona, beating Brown 36-0, handing Brown the donut. And so shout out to them. Got to show them some love. Got to give them some love. Listen, I don't just show love to the East Valley and the West Valley schools. I show love to as many schools as possible. Moving on. I got let's see here. This one kind of stunned me. Caught me off guard a little bit. Shout out to Coach Zupke, Pinnacle, handing Mountain Ridge the donut, 54-0. That's a big dub because listen, my guy Coach Johnson over there at Mountain Ridge definitely turning things around, building that culture, one player at a time and doing it the right way. He's gonna get that thing on track, but Pinnacle hands them the donut, and there's that. So moving on. Who else do we got? I think we got 2 more. Super excited about this one. My guys over there I'm pretty sure that that's the west side. Fairfax, the Stampede giving Alhambra the donut, 61-0. Really ran that thing up. I like what Fairfax has going on. They came out to Flight Club, competed, did their thing, and now they handed out a donut to Alhambra. So shout out to them for doing their job and getting things done. Who else? We got one more, I think, that I got hit up on. I am kind of surprised. Not really, though, because I knew that they were capable of this. Shout out to my guy, Coach Freeman, and his Philadelphia 76ers, who handed out 76 points last week in getting a donut or giving a donut out. And this week handed out 38, half of that. They said, you know what? We're going to be generous. We're only going to do half of that. And 38-0 over Carl Hayden. Shout out to Coach Freeman and his bunch over there with the Tempe turnaround. Love what they got going on. Definitely doing things right. They wanted to move up to 4A. They were all about the smoke. And, shout out to them for taking care of business. So my guys, Coach Freeman, the rest of them, the donut dogs that handed out those donuts, folks hit me up, told me about it. And, I told him I would show some love. So that's me showing love. Another group that I want to show some love to is the offensive line over there at Eastmark. I went out to that game, and the offensive line was absolutely punishing over there at Eastmark in helping their guys win the game. They had to grind out that tough win versus Walden Grove. Love Coach Noble. Love what he's doing. That's Steven Valdez, absolute monster. And Sanchez, the running back over there, running back defensive lineman, absolute dog over there. Can't wait to see those guys again, though. Max Cano was an absolute ball player. They had a ton of kids on the defense, super talented linebackers over there. My guy Dane Silver letting that thing go. Other than that, your boy Chili, I'm gonna make my way out of here, and I'll be flying back in tomorrow to try to get your freshman game. Other than that, at Just Chili, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Forks Up Forever. Y'all know the deal.